they're going to look at it. Foul called on Indiana, then a technical. That's a dead ball contact technical. Honestly, it's wild to see this many in one game. And I don't like the way Lexi was treated. The Indiana Fever walked into Minnesota against the Lynx, already buried by injuries, 5 players gone. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Chloe Beebe, Sydney Coulson, and Aari McDonald all sidelined. Odyssey Sims limped onto the court just to give them a fighting chance. But then the referees delivered the biggest slap of the night. Lexi Hull takes an elbow to the face from Kayla McBride, and they call the foul on Hull. Caitlin Clark was furious. How does this keep happening? If you thought the injuries were bad, the officiating made it even worse, stacking the deck against Indiana's playoff fight. Do you think the referees are out to get the Fever? Drop it in the comments below because it's starting to feel personal. Every single game, somebody in the WNBA is getting abused, beaten, or left hurt, and it seems like nothing changes. The league looks like it has no real plan to stop this nonsense. My goodness. Try to imagine this. You're going against one of the league's toughest teams, and more than half your roster isn't even available. That's exactly what Indiana faced. Caitlin Clark sat out with a groin injury for over a month. Sophie Cunningham lost for the season to a torn MCL. Sydney Coulson gone with a torn ACL. Aari McDonald out for the year with a right foot injury. Chloe Beebe sidelined with a knee problem. That's 5 players erased. Odyssey Sims, brought in on a hardship contract and already battling her own injuries, had to drag herself onto the floor. Just hearing that list is exhausting. Imagine being the team forced to compete like this. The injury wave around Indiana is turning into something almost creepy. Every day it feels like someone new goes down. Clark still uncertain to return this season. Coulson gone for the year. McDonald gone for the year. Cunningham gone. And just today, right before tip-off, Beebe was ruled out for a sore knee. An avalanche doesn't even describe it. It's more like quicksand, swallowing the season whole. This didn't just strip away talent, it ripped away Indiana's team structure. Their entire guard and wing depth vanished overnight. Suddenly, Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell had to carry impossible loads. Just 2 nights earlier, Hull was forced into a career-high 37 minutes and somehow poured in 23 points. That wasn't a highlight, it was pure necessity. When every starter has to play heavy minutes with no subs to step in, it turns every possession into a mountain. Don't get me wrong, Hull can score 23 on any night, but being forced into that role is different. Did you expect to play almost the whole game tonight with the injuries and short rotation? Hull was asked. Yeah, we're down, people, so got to suck it up, play a little tired, and take those timeouts as best we can, she admitted. Indiana's fixes have been patched together on the fly. Hardship contracts, short-term bodies thrown into the fire before they've even unpacked. Shey Peddy was signed and pushed into the rotation immediately. Odyssey Sims hurt herself, had to somehow steady the team anyway. Aerial Powers, another late addition, was thrown into big minutes without chemistry. No real prep, no rhythm, no cohesion, just survive. Even coach Stephanie White admitted this. Our ability to make plays out of what we have, some of it is instinct, some with experience with teammates. Translation: they're building chemistry in the middle of real games against playoff-level teams. Brutal. As unfair as the circumstances already were, the referees stole the spotlight. Lexi Hull, who was already running on fumes, took a brutal elbow from McBride straight to the face. She collapsed. Grabbing her jaw, anyone watching thought it was an obvious flagrant. But somehow, the whistle went against Hull. The player who got elbowed was punished. Fans in the arena were stunned, and the decision spread like wildfire across social media. The replay review only made it worse. Instead of owning the call, officials upgraded it slightly, but still refused to hold McBride responsible. Indiana lost the whistle war again. Hit Lexi Hull with an elbow. Foul on Lexi Hull. Say that out loud, it makes no sense. Boom, elbow right to the face. Fam, even if Hull touched your forehead, there's no excuse for swinging into someone's jaw like that. That's how fans saw it, bad intentions written all over it. And the anger bubbled over fast. Was this just a one-off mistake? Or is Indiana being refereed differently game after game? Because every time the Fever take a hard shot, whether a push, a shove, or this elbow, the calls rarely land their way. Meanwhile, opponents are allowed to set a different level of physicality. Even White hinted her team wasn't officiated the same as Minnesota. Fans saw it too. Drives swallowed with no whistle, bumps on the other end instantly called. This wasn't inconsistency, it felt calculated. Let's just say it plain. McBride looked like she swung with malice. She wanted to wreck something. She connected and Lexi hit the floor folded up. Yet somehow the Fever were punished. How does a team keep competing when the very system feels tilted against them? That's what Indiana faced. And still they didn't quit. Instead of folding, Indiana kept fighting with whatever they had left. Mitchell carried the scoring load, dropping 26 points while battling through double teams. She was exhausted, but relentless, single-handedly keeping the Fever alive until her gas tank hit empty. Without her buckets, this would have turned ugly quick. And just when Indiana needed it most, Shey Peddy lit a spark, dropping 16 points off the bench like she had been there all year. A hardship signing, stepping in, and suddenly looking like a core piece, exactly what this team needed. Aaliyah Boston was the anchor down low. Beaten and bumped all game, she still fought for every board, kept Indiana's defense steady, and refused to let Minnesota own the paint. She didn't put up wild scoring, but her toughness anchored them. Every piece of this roster stretched past the breaking point just to keep the team from collapsing. Hull's 23-point, 37-minute night earlier in the week, and aerial powers being thrown into crucial minutes, were more signs of that everyone stretched, everyone fighting. Naturally, fans can't stop dreaming. What happens when Caitlin Clark finally comes back? If this shorthanded group, stitched together with emergency signings, can push playoff teams to the brink, imagine them at full strength. Indiana is sitting 8th with every game hanging like a playoff battle. One player could change everything, and that one player is Clark. And yes, there's hope. Clark was back on the practice floor in Minnesota. Not cleared yet, but finally moving with teammates again. Just walking into shoot-around flipped the team's energy on its head. After weeks of watching Powerless, seeing Clark in uniform again was like a lifeline. Because without her, this isn't a playoff team, it's a survival act. Kelsey Mitchell holding the offense together by herself, tossing up 40 and 10 type nights just to keep them alive. Hull suddenly forced to turn into a late-game hero. The Fever are hanging onto the 8th spot at 19-18, with one single game cushion over LA and 7 brutal games left. Seattle, Golden State, Chicago, LA, they're all waiting. No free space on this schedule. One slip, and Indiana falls out of the playoff bracket. That's why every fan is glued to Clark's progress. Stephanie White even said, "When you see her back in practice, you'll know she's on the way." Now we've seen it Clark, shooting, dribbling, moving. The internet dissected every clip, her footwork, her body language, because that return could decide the entire season. Indiana isn't just playing their opponents every night, they're battling injuries and officiating too. The mental toll shows in their body language after missed calls, in the fan frustration boiling over online. Can Caitlin Clark elevate them above all of it? Injuries, bias, fatigue, just in time? Whatever happens, this team's fight has been unforgettable. If that resilience carries into the postseason, it will be remembered as the year the Fever refused to fold. Do you think the referees are out to get Indiana? Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Check out the video on screen, and we'll see you in the next one.